come and land your sleigh at GTB Medical in Brunswick and get into the holiday spirit. This free Christmas wonderland will be on display the entire month of December, and everyone is invited to join in the fun. You will be amazed at the expansive collection of animated holiday items to view and enjoy. GTB Medical is located at 366 Pearl Road in Brunswick and is open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So gather up the entire family and stop by for some true holiday cheer. And I'll see you real soon.
Happy holidays. Welcome to Golden Years. I'm Lori Betts, and this month my guest is Nick Solar, and he is the co-chair for Salvation Army of Northern Medina County. So come on back, and we'll tell you what's happening with us.
It's me, Santa Claus, coming to you live from the North Pole. I'd like to remind you to leave out that milk and those cookies and to keep watching Brunswick area television. And I'll come to see you real soon.
Welcome back to Golden Years. I'm Lori Betts, and I am interviewing Nick Solar from Salvation Army, Northern Medina County. Nick, thanks for joining me this month on Golden Years.
Lori, thanks for having me here today.
And I know December is a very busy month for Salvation Army because those kettles are going to be out there very soon, and we're going to hear the bells ringing. So do you want to tell us an update? Where are the kettles going to be this year?
Well, actually, Lori, the season for us kind of starts in October when we try to start getting the ball rolling, find out what needs to be done, where our kettles need to go, making sure that we have permission to go into certain businesses to set up our kettles to ring. But this year we will have kettles set up at Bueller's, at Giant Eagle here in Brunswick, and also at Kmart.
Okay. And these businesses are very easy to work with.
They've always been very accommodating
and kind
to Salvation Army here, especially since Salvation Army is internationally known. It's not just here in Brunswick or just, and no offense, not just a local fundraiser, but anytime people see a Christmas movie that's set aside outside, you tend to see a Santa Claus standing on a corner with a kettle. For those of us that watch football, especially involving Dallas Cowboys, you see the big Salvation Army logo because their owner's very pro-Salvation Army. They do something on Thanksgiving, so that symbol is universally recognized. So it's one of the I would say few organizations that actually a lot of these businesses let us set up.
And Salvation Army is so good to the community because we give back and we help so many people.
Correct. And we here locally take pride in saying what we raise here stays locally here in Medina County to help those people in need right here in Brunswick, Brunswick Hills, Hinckley, and Valley City. Those are the communities that are served by our service unit here in Brunswick.
And when we had the flood here in Brunswick this past June, time flies, Salvation Army was involved with cleanup kits, I heard?
Correct. The city of Brunswick was deeply impacted by the floods. First of all, at City Hall, the police department, we had significant flood issues, and we're still working on making repairs to City Hall, the police department, getting drywall, new carpeting, and things like that. So we had a lot of things that were destroyed there. That being said, a lot of our residents had issues with flooding. we were able to provide somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 cleanup kits to residents here in Brunswick. These cleanup kits contain brushes, gloves, mops, which, you know, kind of fold away mops, the handles separated so they all fit in a nice big bucket. So I don't know if I mentioned bleach, a couple different types of gloves, absorbent, all those kinds of things that fit into a nice bucket. And the bucket also had the Salvation Army logo on it. And while it isn't a lot, it actually shows to the people that we care, that Salvation Army cares, and we're trying to do a little bit to help you. People had significant damage. There's no way you can go around and repair $40,000 damage to somebody's basement, to the number of houses that had that, but every little bit helps something to get people going again and back on their feet.
And with the heavy rains, it was so unfortunate that so many people were affected by this. And everyone was saying that, you know, I lived in this house 30 years, 40 years, it never flooded, but it was just the heavy rains. We just
some
got
of these
hit.
things in what we pride ourselves on here in Northern Medina County, our Salvation Army Service Unit, is emergency assistance for whatever type of crisis can come up. We did have a couple tornadoes that touched down earlier. You know, assistance was offered, but not needed, because a lot of these types of things were covered by the homeowner's insurance company. You know, your house gets blown apart because of the tornado, so those types of things were covered by their insurance company. But some people, like, you know, in the flood incidents that you mentioned, didn't have flood insurance or things like that, so they were not covered under their homeowner's insurance policy.
And having said that, like when a family's going through issues, let's say they're getting behind on their utilities. Salvation Army does help them out with as far as like their electric bill or disconnects or...
Yes, and one thing I would like to say, that the sooner the homeowner or renter reaches out to the utility companies, the better off they are in the long run. What I'm trying to mean here is, you know, you're having financial problems, don't wait until you get your gas, electric, water shut off before you look for help. You know, start looking earlier, because you know, hey, you know what your payment's going to be. I don't have the money to do it. You know, start looking for assistance earlier on in the process, so there's less collateral damage, if I can use that term, to get things back again. But normally Salvation Army will pay for utility reconnects, because once your utility is shut off, there's a charge to reactivate it again. So we do help our residents with those sorts of issues.
And anyone can call. Anyone could just talk to Linda at
Correct.
the office. Forms always have to be filled out.
Our office is actually located, it's a small office in Industrial Parkway. Our address is 2888 Nationwide Parkway. Once again, it's 2888 Nationwide Parkway. Phone number is 330-273-1976.
And if they happen to go in there and Linda's not there, they could always leave her a message, and Linda would
Correct.
get back to her when she's back in the office.
Correct.
December is a very giving month, and I know with the kettles being out there, we in turn will be giving back to the community also. We adopt, how many families do we plan on adopting this year?
I'm not sure the total. I'm thinking somewhere around 60 to 100, but I don't know the exact number.
Okay.
And these are specific to you know, receiving gifts for Christmas. The kettle drive, I pride and put a lot of effort into our kettle drive so that people can be helped year-round. You know, if a child gets a nice toy or present or something like that for Christmas, it's meaningful to the child, but also you have to look at the family's needs. While it may bring happiness to the child, the family's still concerned, because, you know, I need food, I need to pay for rent, utilities, all these other things that Salvation Army can assist them with.
And unfortunately, near the end of the year, just because we're celebrating Christmas doesn't mean something unfortunate is not going to happen to any family.
Correct.
So that's good to know that the Salvation is there if you have a need. And Salvation Army also did help back to school kids this year, as we always do. And we had how many?
We had about 177, 178 children that were allowed to purchase, I believe it was $90 worth of back-to-school clothing or items that they may need throughout the school year. So pens, paper, you know, those sorts of things. This is probably our one, what we like to call big project of the year, because boys and girls feel a lot better about themselves when they, you know, the first day of school they have new, they have new clothes, new shoes, those kinds of things. So that money, that $90, helps them get on their way to buy some things. So once again, it's a collaborative effort. So they're allowed to go to Kmart, which also lets us host a kettle during our kettle drive. So it's a, it's a win-win for Salvation Army, for the family, and also for Kmart, because they get, they get that business. And we do this roughly in early to mid-August, now that the school starting times were moved up. That's when this program takes effect. So people start applying in July. We have several members from our committee then that go over the applications, because we don't just give money to everybody. And I shouldn't say give money. Salvation Army does not give money.
Correct.
What happens is they go to Kmart, they make the purchases, and then Kmart sends us a bill, and that is paid for out of our fund. So there's no direct cash handed to the people. So they have to buy the clothing, whatever, and then we reimburse Kmart for the total amount of charges. So that's one thing I like to say about Salvation Army. We're voucher-based, so if somebody comes in and say, hey, I need, can you give me $10? It doesn't work that way. We have programs where we can assist them in various different ways.
And we really need to say again that with the kettle drive, all those dollars, pennies, coins that goes into that kettle, you spent the whole month counting it, and it all gets accumulated, and that's where we're able to spend the money in the community.
That's correct.
We also do senior bingo at United Labor Towers. We go out shopping and we buy paper products, napkins, toilet paper, toilet tissue, and we play bingo with the seniors there. And that's all with the monies collected, in the kettles.
Correct. Like I say, we're for everybody there. The back to school program is actually helps the adults too, because they don't have to then buy, have to spend additional money for clothing when Salvation Army is able to provide some money, so they don't have to go, deep in debt to help them out. And then, like you said, with senior bingo and those sorts of things, we're assisting the older population, which is constantly growing here in Medina County. So it's not just about the youth. We're here to try to help everybody. And based on my position in the Division of Police, I'm able to see certain things that come up when officers, call on people at their residences for whatever, and they discover issues. They can refer them to me, and then I direct the people to Salvation Army. I'll give an example on that. We had an officer go into a residence, and there were a lot of the electric space heaters that were plugged in that you can buy at the store, and the officer kind of asked, well, why do you have all these heaters? He said, well, our gas got shut off, So, there was a report written, so I was able to refer that to Salvation Army. We were able to get their gas reconnected, so they don't have to depend on all these little heaters to keep, to keep the house warm.
And they were probably too proud to ask for help.
And unfortunately, that happens a lot. Some people tend to abuse the system. That's why we have checks and balances, like on the back to school program. We want to make sure that people meet eligibility requirements. We don't want people that are, I don't want to say wealthy, but are well-to-do to try, because they don't need the, they don't need the assistance. It's for people that, for instance, their children are on free lunch programs or those sorts of things where we know they need additional help. So we don't just freely hand out these types of things, so we look at all aspects of the family dynamics.
We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come right back, and we're going to hear more about the Salvation Army.
Santa's coming.
That's right, folks. Santa is coming to the Brunswick Hills Fire Station, located at the corner of Grafton and Substation Roads on December 21st from noon to 4 p.m. You'll know he's coming because that morning he'll be driving around the township, inviting all the families in the township to the fire station to have their picture taken with him. His reindeer will be there, there'll be face painting, there'll be refreshments, and there'll be crafts. So we would invite you and your family to come on down to the fire station from noon to 4 on December 21st. Happy holidays!
Holidays.
Ho, ho, ho! Come and land your sleigh at GTB Medical in Brunswick and get into the holiday spirit. This free Christmas wonderland will be on display the entire month of December, and everyone is invited to join in the fun. You will be amazed at the expansive collection of animated holiday items to view and enjoy. GTB Medical is located at 366 Pearl Road in Brunswick and is open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So gather up the entire family and stop by for some true holiday cheer. And I'll see you real soon.
Welcome back to Golden Years, and I am interviewing Nick Solar from the Salvation Army, Northern Medina County. And what we are going to request my viewers and pass the word, we are in search of volunteers to man these kettles that you're going to see all through Medina County. We in Brunswick and Medina City's looking for volunteers, and so is Wadsworth. So if you have maybe an hour, you don't have to book a whole day to ring the bell. If you want to do an hour with your families, grandchildren, it's really nice to see people being so generous to a little red kettle, especially at this time of the year. Everyone's so busy running around, and they're not thinking about, ooh, who can I help? But just seeing, like, even when they see little kids at the kettle, they're like, oh yeah, I'll give something. You know, or else a little kid will come running up and he'll put a handful of change in the kettle.
The Medina and Wadsworth Salvation Armies are actually called corps. Our unit here is just a service unit, so we don't have an area where we do any actual programming or have people come in for after-school things or things like that. It's just for basic emergency assistance. But Medina and Wadsworth have a lot of programming that goes on in their facilities. And as you so aptly stated, we all look for volunteers this time of year. So wherever you're at in Medina County, you want your money to stay local. If you're shopping, I'm not familiar with all our locations in Medina and Wadsworth where they have them, so I don't want to say anything. But if you're shopping in Wadsworth, for instance, you see a kettle, you want it to stay in Wadsworth, that's where you need to, put your donation. And the same thing for Medina. Here in Brunswick, we have a nice lady named Judy Von Duke that actually does all the scheduling for our 3 locations here in Brunswick. So if anybody in northern Medina County is interested, and like I say, we always need volunteers, because as we always say, we can't collect money if we don't have anyone manning a kettle. So
Exactly.
Judy can be reached, and her phone number is 330-760-1623. That's 330-760-1623. That's how you get a hold of Judy. And you can say a preference on a location where you would like to ring if that's available. Generally, Saturdays are pretty much booked up. Salvation Army, I'm not going to get a lot into history, but Salvation Army is a faith-based organization, so they do not man kettles on Sunday, day of faith. So they're, the kettles are, I guess you want to call them dark. They're dark on Sunday, so there is nobody ringing a kettle on Sunday. But usually during the week, Monday through Friday, are days where we can, have the greatest need for volunteers. So people that are retired, people that work different shifts, maybe people that, like I say, have an hour or two, during the day. You don't have to dress up fancy or anything like that. But as you indicated, there's a lot of pride and a lot of good feeling. I know the times I ring the kettle, we have veterans come up from World War II, Korea, Vietnam, whatever the situation is, and thank us for what we're doing, because they know how the Salvation Army helped them when they were overseas or involved in war. So Salvation Army has a special meaning to a significant number of veterans.
And a lot of people, when they say thank you for ringing, I mean, that warms your heart, because they know we are there for a reason, and we're there to help out the community. That it's not going in my pocket, your pocket. We're there to help people. And
we know here too in northern Medina County, it's all volunteer, so we're not getting paid to to man a kettle and to ring the bell.
My niece, years ago, she rang the bell at the mall the whole season. She got paid, but she was there from morning to night in the cape, in the hood, and she just rang the bell and collected the money. I thought, you know what, that took a lot of patience. I mean, because that's a long day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so with this, you set your times. You give whatever time you want to give.
Correct. I mean, if you can only do an hour the whole season, that's, like I say, that's an hour more than we had scheduled prior to your calling. And like I say, it's very important to us and to the people that need our assistance throughout the year. So when you see the kettles, and if you think that you might want to volunteer, you could maybe ask one of the people. If you don't have the phone number, Judy's phone number might be on the back of the display. And just give, like Nick said, call her number. You probably have to leave her a voicemail, because she is working too while she's doing all the scheduling. And there are people that do either forget to, go up and do their time. So sometimes the kettle is empty. But that happens, Yeah. Life happens. The other thing I'd like to say in regards to that, I can't speak on Medina and Wadsworth, but sometimes things happen that are unforeseen. Let's say you were scheduled to ring on a Saturday for a couple hours and you got sick on Friday. Well, I can't make it. If you can, please call Judy or wherever you're at, whoever your contact person is, and let them know that you can't make it because you're sick or whatever, because there's then a potential that she can schedule or fill that in. Like I say, sometimes we have gaps in service because, for whatever, car breaks down, people get sick or whatever, and they don't show up during the time they're scheduled. So it's very important that when we schedule a slot that there's somebody there to to man the kettles, because we do not leave a kettle out by itself unattended. And share with our people, some of our volunteers, the hours they put in the last couple of years.
retired gentleman.
We've had a volunteer, and unfortunately he passed away, but I can remember the hours. The one year he put in 88 hours,
That's awesome.
which is, you know, over 2 weeks of full-time work. And you're thinking this is only kind of like a 4-week period between Thanksgiving and Christmas Eve,
yeah.
you know, to ring the bell. And that's, like I say, eliminating Sundays because we don't ring on Sunday.
Yeah. And I think we had one gentleman, he apologized because he had family issues going on or something, and he said, I just can't volunteer as much as I did last year.
Mm-hmm.
So we have some good people helping us.
Yes, and we do our best to recognize them after the, you know, like in January and February after the kettle drive is over, to give them a little appreciation, a little thanks for all the effort that they do. Like I say, when you're putting in 40, 50, 60 hours, that's, you know, that's quite a long time.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Nick, for sharing with us all about the Salvation Army and that the red kettles are coming out. So even if you give a pocket full of change, whatever you can give, it adds up. You know, how many coins have you counted?
That's correct. I don't even want to think about the coins that we've counted. But like I say, it all goes into, you know, it all goes back to the Salvation Army.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lori.
And thank you, my viewers. We're at the end of another year, so hopefully you'll come back and watch Golden Years in 2015 and have a real nice holiday season.
That's right, folks. Santa is coming to the Brunswick Hills Fire Station, located at the corner of Grafton and Substation Roads on December 21st from noon to 4 p.m. You'll know he's coming because that morning he'll be driving around the township, inviting all the families in the township to the fire station to have their picture taken with him. His reindeer will be there. There'll be face painting, there'll be refreshments, and there'll be crafts. So we would invite you and your family to come on down to the fire station from noon to 4 on December 21st. Happy holidays!
Ho, ho, ho! What's this? Merry Christmas and Happy New Year!
Thanks to your generosity, Marines have delivered Christmas to children in need since 1947.